Welcome back to the County News Podcast. I'm Nicole Weissman, and today we're bringing you the first in a new 3-part series on civic engagement. This series highlights some of the ways counties are driving an increase in civic engagement, and each episode is tied to a written resource in the form of a one-pager you can download from NACo's website to learn more about the specific case study. Those one-pagers are available on our podcast webpage at naco.org/podcast, so you have another way to share this information around with others who might be interested. This first episode features Caitlin Samsel, 911 Administrator for Berrien County, Michigan, talking with my colleague Charlie Ban about multi-language resources for emergency services. In Berrien County, folks can call 911 call centers and be connected with someone in any language to create increased access to emergency services. Here's Charlie's interview.
I'm joined today by Berrien County 911 Administrator Caitlin Samsel. Caitlin, tell me about Berrien County and its geography and its population.
Absolutely. So Berrien County is located in southwest Michigan. We're right along the lake shore on the border with Indiana and very close to Illinois as well. So we have a lot of tourist population come in, especially during the summer. We have a lot of second homes in this area too. So our population by census is about 152,000, but it kind of expands during the summer months. And during the winter months, those that enjoy snow will also visit us as well.
What kind of emergency call volume do you see in Berrien County?
So on an annual basis, we answer about 80,000 911 calls in the county here. And of course, we see higher volume in the summer than we do in the winter months. In the winter months, we see peaks when we have winter weather events like we saw earlier this week.
So a lot of visitors coming in, a lot of people from all over the region visiting Berrien County usually for leisure. Tell me about the translator and interpreter system you have in your 911 response center.
Yeah, when we take 911 or administrative calls, we have an interpreter service that we can connect with. We actually now have 2. So we contracted with 2 different companies that we can use. It gives us greater resiliency in case we're unable to connect with one for some reason, that we still have an extra resource. So what we have to do is when a non-English speaking person calls, we will then try to communicate them to please hold on the phone, and we will connect them with a translator. And then once we get in touch with that translator, most of our population that's non-English speaking here is Spanish. So we actually have that set up as a quick connect option. If it's not Spanish, then we have to talk to their message service and get whatever language it is that we need at that time. We get usually about half a dozen to a dozen different languages throughout the year that are kind of one-offs that are not Spanish. But most of our non-English speaking population, they come in usually higher during the summer as well. We're very agricultural in this area as well. So we'll have more people who speak Spanish during that time.
And when people call 911 in Berrien County, they typically talk to a human operator or dispatcher immediately, right?
Absolutely. So our calls come into real people, and we answer the phone, 911. Our script is to be 911, what's the address of the emergency? And from there, a lot of times, people that are non-English speaking, or maybe they have some English, but in order to communicate effectively, they prefer to speak in their native language, then they'll ask for somebody who speaks that language, or we'll identify that they're having challenges and try to figure out which language it is, and then let them know that we'll connect them to an interpreter. Of course, that is, if they don't understand English well, then that can be a little bit of a barrier too. We do have an additional service, though, with our text to 911 in Michigan, that we can text a message to somebody, and that can identify once they respond which language it is that they've responded in. And then we can also respond in that language to them. So that helps bridge some of the gap as well when needed.
From what I understand, the Berrien County Board of Commissioners approved a new contract back in July of last year to move to a new service for its translation and interpretation system. What was the impetus for that?
We've had a language translation service for a number of years. I've been here for 15 years, and we've had it throughout that time. But we were seeing, especially since the pandemic, we were seeing some delays in getting connection and some challenges with our service level. So we wanted to provide a more resilient and better options for our staff and for our callers. So we went out and we tested a number of different services, and last summer, we connected with Civic in order to provide them as our primary interpreter service, and we kept our secondary as well, just in case, as a backup, in case we can't get through for some reason, because sometimes there are challenges with either availability or a technical challenge. So that gives us that greater resiliency and redundancy. We like those sorts of measures in 911 to make sure we can provide good service.
Given the importance that tourism plays in Berrien County's summer and winter economies and just the general well-being of the public, what does it mean to offer this kind of service?
We have some international community as well at our college that's in Berrien Springs at Andrews University. And then we also have the world headquarters of Whirlpool here. So we do have other international populations coming in besides just those that speak Spanish as well. So our staff are mostly English speaking, and it doesn't matter what language you speak. In the event of an emergency or when you need help, we want to be able to provide you with that help. And so this is really integral for us to be able to provide good service and get the help that's necessary in the field to people when they need it. Even if we can't, for some reason, connect or get that language understanding through the tools that we have, as long as we can get a location, we can send somebody to go out and try to figure out what the need is there. But of course, we want to provide the best possible help before the responders even get there in the field.
That includes, say, being able to give instructions over the phone for somebody who's on site, able to help stabilize somebody till help arrives.
That's right. At our center, we do emergency medical dispatch. So that will often equal CPR instructions, Heimlich instructions for people that are choking, those sorts of things. We can really help a patient over the phone before field responders even make sight. So we help guide callers through how to help their friends, loved ones, bystanders that they've found in those emergency situations.
This is all part of a series we're doing on civic engagement, increasing people's understanding for what civic engagement is. And from our perspective, it's a different approach to think of something like this as civic engagement. But it's, quite frankly, it is helping members of the public engage with government in a way that otherwise they could not have. And it's not a matter of increasing voting turnout or anything like that, but it's a matter of being able to help increase use of government services and help people feel connected to what's out there.
That's right. Our mission here, we really feel that we're called to provide that service, right? We're to be always present, to be competent in what we're doing, and to operate as one unit in order for us to really build that reputation of excellence as that vital connection that links the caller and the field responders, the community together. And it's so important for us to meet people where they are, right? So it doesn't matter what language you speak or where you come from, if you're the mayor or if you don't have a job, right? We want to provide you the same level of service across the board because you matter and your emergency matters.
How well aware are people in Berrien County that this service exists?
Yeah, so we had this new contract come in place last summer, so that did get some news attention. One of our local stations actually put it on their morning news cycle twice. And the reporter that we spoke with was very excited about this as well because she comes from a family that is Spanish speaking, and so this was really important to her and really hit home. And we don't always think about that as much, that the importance of it, because we've had this tool for quite some time. A lot of 911 centers have these tools to be able to help communicate with people that are non-English speaking. But I think that we, as a whole, need to do a better job of storytelling and making sure that people know that that service is available. Because a lot of times in emergencies, people may be afraid or hesitant to call for help. And different cultures have different ideas or sentiments about emergency response, about law enforcement, about even asking for help. And so just to put people at ease and feel prepared for how to handle an emergency, we want to get that message out there better so that they know that we're here when they need them, regardless of what language they speak or what situation that they're in.
I'd say if there's any consistent value among county cultures, it's excellent service and everybody's welfare. So I'd say this might be, I wouldn't say it's the silver bullet, but it's certainly a tool that can help counties reach that.
Absolutely. It's really amazing in 911. There's some new technologies coming out as well with using AI services. Even the text 911 that I talked about, that uses some AI in identifying the languages and then translating for us. But there are now even some technologies that are starting to roll out in areas where the call taker can speak in English, and then the system will translate that into the other language. Right now, it's primarily Spanish. Or you can send a message. You can type in text in English, and then the system will speak it in the other language for a caller. So again, trying to help meet the caller where they are, and also translating what they're saying into English in a text form for us. So if we're not able to connect with a person with an interpreter, or even before we connect with an interpreter, it helps us to provide service faster. Those tools are just starting to emerge and come out, but those are exciting things for us in emergency services and in 911 to be able to do a better job and a faster job of getting people help when they need it.
The system's been in place since last year. What kind of results have you seen thus far?
Yeah, so it's still relatively new for us to be able to speak to any changes from what we were seeing before. And it takes some time to get it set up and some technology challenges working through those. But we have it up and running right now. We've also made a change in our contract. We're union here at our center with our county, and we just renegotiated our contract. And in that, we were able to add in a language incentive program as well. So currently, we only have one person on staff that also has a second language. She's a native Spanish speaker. And so now we'll have the ability to get a certification for that to ensure that that person, that employee, is got that level of language skills and that confidence for the community, right, that person has those language skills. Now, she's a native speaker, so we're not very concerned with that, but we've got other people, right, that might have a language as a second language that are non-native speakers. And so we want to make sure that we're providing the good level of service. So we've got that certification in place, and then they will also receive additional compensation for that. So because it's always better to have somebody in-house if possible, right? Because they're trained on exactly the sorts of calls that we get, how to handle those, and that also speeds up the service if we don't have to connect with an outside source, with an interpreter. One of the big challenges with interpreter services is that we ask a question in English, then they ask it in the other language, and there's some back and forth that often happens. And if you don't speak that language, you don't understand exactly what's being said. And they're coming at it from an interpreter standpoint, right? They have some training in 911 calls, but they also handle a number of different kinds of interpretation situations. They're not 911 professionals per se. And so those calls are a little bit more challenging. So having that language skill in-house is obviously the most ideal. So we're excited to be able to provide that additional incentive for people who do come on as 911 telecommunicators and have those extra skills.
As you mentioned, time is of the essence, and the less time you have to spend connecting somebody. I mean, how long does it take to usually get an interpreter on the phone and get this process going?
Yeah, so it really depends on the situation, unfortunately. Sometimes interpreters are more available than others. But CIRICOM, for example, they tell us that it takes on average across the board about 30 seconds to connect with an interpreter, sometimes as little as 10 seconds. So we're too new with them to really speak to that benefit yet. but we're excited for that increased service level than what we've been seeing in the past.
Well, Caitlin, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and congratulations on this successful program.
Thank you. We're very excited to be able to have this to better serve our communities.
That was Charlie's interview with Caitlin Samsel, 911 Administrator for Berrien County, Michigan. Stay tuned for 2 more episodes in this County News podcast series on civic engagement, and visit naco.org/podcast to download one-pagers related to this work. Also related to civic engagement, National County Government Month is right around the corner. Celebrated every April, National County Government Month is an opportunity to recognize the amazing county workforce, educate residents about what counties do, and celebrate our role in the intergovernmental system. For more about that, visit naco.org/ncgm. Thanks again for listening.